Welcome. Hey, Mosaic Souls, welcome back to Divine Earth School. Bear with me as I make sure that we are going live. If you're joining me live, feel free to say hi in the chat.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is
I was trying to make sure that I can be heard and seen. Okay, cool. We are live. Nice. So welcome back to Divine Earth School. Today I'm excited to bring this topic. I was gonna do another topic, but my heart was like, nah, do this one. And I think it's just an iteration of what I shared earlier this week. It's more an extension of not how to find your purpose, but how to actually live a purpose-fueled life, which is an extension of that, right? So it's like, as you're discovering new different breadcrumbs and new insights and new things that you're implementing in your life, how do you lead? Another way of saying this is an intuitive-led life or soul-led life, a life that is in tune with your heart and your soul. So that is what today's topic is going to be about. It's going to be tuning into sort of that extension of what I was sharing. I don't remember the day. I think it was Tuesday earlier this week. So welcome back. Let me see. So today we're going to be diving into the topic that's really close to my heart. So leading a intuitive led or soul fueled life. So if you've ever felt like, you know, that nudge to wanting more, to receiving more in your life, you know, the call that's deep in your soul, that there's something more. Really, we all have that feeling at some point in our lives. It's really sort of your soul sort of being like, I'm here. When are you ready to listen to me? So this one is for you. This video is for you. So let's explore how to heed the call of our souls and embark on a journey of purpose. So imagine for a second with me that you are waking up every morning. I'm going to give you two different scenarios. You're waking up every morning, you're in a state of fear, you're in a state of panic, or in a state of worry about something in your life, whether it's something to do with, you know, basic needs or something to do with familial needs or higher, different levels of issues, right? And you're just in this perpetual state of worry and fear, right? And in this perpetual state of worry and fear, you feel just disconnected. You feel like, why is my life so hard? Why can't it be easier? Or maybe you have like just the basic needs met, but other things you just feel like there's something more and there's something missing, you know? And here's a flip side, right? Imagine instead of waking up in fear or worried about, you know, whatever it is that you're worried about in terms of, you know, leading a more fulfilled life, leaving a legacy, leaving your divine blueprint on this planet, whether that's through kids or a business or an idea or a project, whatever that is. And you feel in tune. You immediately connect to your soul. You immediately connect to your intuition. Maybe you take some time to journal to yourself, journal and receive any insights that you have for the day. Maybe you take some time to tune into your emotions and kind of garner and wager how you feel and sort of process any emotions that might have been left over from the previous day. And then you sort of set your intentions for the day, and then you get up and you feel not just excited or passionate, but you feel hopeful and enthusiastic about your day versus this sense of dread that used to plague your day-to-day existence. That is the difference between these two different scenarios. Is the difference between leading a life that's sort of programmed, where you're sort of programmed and you're sort of in this matrix, caught in the matrix, right? If you think of Neo in the Matrix, where he was just kind of drudging every day, I guess, going to this dead-end job. That's sort of the, you know, archetype that you can kind of think of, versus this, you know, free version of yourself where you're in tune with yourself, you're in tune with knowing, you know, thyself on so many different levels, and you're actually taking action and moving towards that energy of living your higher purpose, right? So that's really understanding the call of your soul, if you want to think about it in that way, of sort of like coming back to the Neo example of, you know, taking the red or the blue pill, or getting that initial insight where he saw the bunny on the girl's shoulder or whatever, and starting to follow these little breadcrumbs, right? That's the soul speaking to you in that sense, right? For you, it might be, just that dread that you feel. That's also a sign. Like the misalignment is also a sign that your soul is speaking to you, that there's more, right? Because if you didn't feel discord within yourself, usually discord to me represents a misaligned way of thinking, feeling, or being that's not in alignment with your higher self, or not in alignment with your soul, right? Or that there's boundaries crossed, but that's also in alignment, right, with your divinity. So that's basically what the difference is, right? Like learning to listen to those inner nudges, right? So let's talk about this a little bit more, right? The journey of self-discovery, right? It's that feeling when something resonates deep within you, of urging you to pay attention, right? It might be a hobby, a cause, or a talent that brings you unparalleled joy, or that's really the call of your soul, right? It's that inner nudge. And it might be, some of us are just what I call frequency keepers. Some of us aren't necessarily here to do a lot of work. We're just here to embody peace, love, and light, and just embody that in dense areas, maybe in the ghetto, or maybe in war-torn zones on the planet. Like some of us are just frequency holders to help elevate the frequency of the planet. Or some of us do, many of us do have like actual, what I call vehicles of expression. Like I shared in the last live about what is your purpose and the expression of that. If you didn't see that last live, I'll link it below or in a card or something for those of you who are watching the replay. But in the gist of it, I gave 2 levels of purpose. And so one level is basically understanding that you're just a human you're a divine being having this human experience. And that's level 1 of your purpose. You're here to have the experience, to be present, to be aware, to enjoy the play of being in a flesh meat suit, right? And then the second level of purpose is actual tasks and things that we come to carry out, right? And I labeled that into vehicles of expression, which we have a tendency to think our purpose is only the vehicles of expression. And what I mean by that is your career or your business or your project, that's your purpose, right? But those are just only extensions of your purpose, right? So career, business, relationships and stuff like that, those are extensions of your divine purpose, right? So that's what I shared in that last video. So leading a purpose-fueled life really begins with self-discovery, right? What are your passions? What makes your heart sing? Dive into the depths of your being, uncovering the layers that make you unique, right? That make you uniquely you. So this journey is, all about authenticity, a word that's used a lot, but that can never be overused, really. So embracing every facet of yourself. And a lot of that means taking time. And we'll dive into the I think it's 5 steps that I created into creating a more purpose or soul-fueled life, right? And then another part of it is just sort of purpose is often intertwined with your values, right? And we'll talk more about all that in the different steps. So let's dive into these 5 steps and just talk about practical steps to lead a purpose-fueled life. And really, we're in a time where where we actually can live a purpose-fueled life, if you really think about it. If you thought about, just our ancestors and half the crap that they had to go through to even become self-actualized. We're living in a time where we can become self-actualized, where of course there's still war and there's always going to be war on the planet just because that's the planet we live on. But human nature is human nature, and there's different varying levels of consciousness on the planet. So because of that, that's always going to go on. But we're in a technologically advanced society to where we have sort of our basic needs met, or can be met, at least in the Western society. I can't say for all of the world, right? But for those of who are in first world or second world countries, most of us can somewhat meet our basic needs and kind of rise up the Maslow hierarchy of needs to become self-actualized, right? And self-actualized is sort of a different version of saying living your purpose-fueled life. What does that mean to know thyself? Because you can't really know yourself or take time to know yourself if you're worried about how you're going to get food, how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to, where you're going to lay your head at night. Like those things, if that is an issue, then that should be your priority, right? That should be your focus. But if those things are taken care of, then this new level of, of opportunity opens up for you to actually live your purpose, right? So step number 1 that I shared is created was tuning in, right? So tuning in is listening to your intuition. So tuning into your spirit guides, tuning into your higher self, and your soul nudges, tuning into your ancestors, and receiving divine insights, right? Receiving, insights on what are your unique cycles, your unique life path, your unique rhythms on the planet, right? If you akin this to sort of like, if you think of like a woman and her cycle, her moon cycle and stuff like that, we all have different cycles and our own different ways of birthing things into the world, whether that be a child, an actual physical child, or whether that be, different projects or businesses or communal events or, different levels of energy frequencies or different blueprints of existing, right? Birthing in a new way of existing on the planet, let's say like a new relationship blueprint, right? And maybe relationships have always been this sort of way, and you're here to like embody and birth into a new relationship blueprint. You won't really receive that blueprint if you're not tuned into your intuition, right? If you're not listening to the nudges of your soul. And a piece I wanted to share about this is a lot of times people think that listening to your intuition is always going to bring you like roses and roses and sunshine and stuff like that. And even though it is there to make life a lot easier, sometimes your intuition will lead you into challenging experiences because you're here for growth and expansion, right? So it knows that in order to experience, maybe a life lesson you're here to learn is to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet, or learn how to, let's just go with that one. Learning how to stand on your own 2 feet. Maybe in past lives, you've always been very dependent on other people, and you've always been maybe codependent, or you've never felt strong enough to like stand on your own 2 feet. So in this lifetime, your soul was like, I'm going to learn how to be independent in this lifetime. So a part of that, your soul will sometimes not necessarily bring about like negative experiences per se, but it like certain challenges might arise, right? And so going and journeying through that challenge, learning how, let's say, you were a part of a business or a company, and maybe you got fired, and then all of a sudden you're learning, okay, but you felt the call to start your own business for the longest time, and you didn't really do it, and then all of a sudden you got fired, and now you have all this time to figure out what you're going to do next. That might be, or it is, a soul nudge like, okay, now you have no excuses, start your business, right? Or, whatever. There's many different examples, right? But like the whole point of me bringing that up was the intuition, right, has a way of guiding you through what you're here to do in your own intuitive and unique path. And if you're not tuned into that, then you'll miss some of the things that you're here to do per se. Technically you can't ever really be off your path technically, but let's just say on a human level, it'll feel like you're MIA, you're missing out, right? FOMO, fear of missing out, right? So step number 1 is tuning into your intuition and, heightening your intuition. Step number 2 is reflecting, right? So self-reflection, and I share about this all the time, several videos, right? So setting aside time for introspection. So what brings you joy, right? What activities make time fly because you're so immersed? Or what are your desires, passions, and interests? And another aspect of this is identifying what your values are, right? So listing out your core values. Do you value connection? Do you value connection? Do you value peace? Do you value solitude? Do you value adventure? Or do you value simplicity or complexity? Et cetera, et cetera. What are your values, and getting in touch and tune with those? And then how can you align your daily life to these values, right? To this value system that you have within yourself, right? And making sure that your values are in alignment with your soul's purpose, right? With your life's purpose, right? And then step number 3 is act, right? Take inspired action. So break down your purpose, if you can, into actionable steps. When you receive divine insights, sometimes your soul will be like, okay, back to the business example. You're supposed to start a business, or not supposed to is a very harsh word. You can start a business. That's an option that your soul is here to explore. And so your soul is like, it gives you this vision of being this great, let's say, author or something, and you want to be this author, and you've had this book on your heart for forever, right? And so you have this book, But it doesn't sit there and give you the full download transmission of the book in one sitting. No, you have to sit there and be like, okay, today I'm going to write for 3 hours, and then tomorrow I'm going to write for 3 hours until the book is done. And then it's like, okay, so how am I going to promote the book, or what ways can I connect? And then you're like, okay, I can reach out to this person, I can build a website, and it's this whole like action oriented thing. So you're grounding these sort of like etheric insights down into your human experience through actionable steps, right? So that's what, following the nudges that we receive, right? So what small steps can you take today to move you closer to your calling, to these actualizing these divine insights that you receive from your higher self, right? And then fourth step is heal, right? Releasing, restoring, and remembering. So releasing what no longer serves you, habits, patterns, ways of existing, ways of thinking, emotional ways of being, right? Relationships that no longer serve you, whatever, like environments that don't support who you are, right? Releasing what no longer serves you, restoring your soul's blueprint, your inner guidance, and then remembering who you are when you forget. So part of our journey being here, and that's why doing the work is important on a day-to-day basis, but part of our journey here is to forget sometimes who we are. We sometimes forget that, we're divine beings having this human experience. And so the journey of doing that inner work, healing and restoring, right, is to remember who you are. Because really when you stay in the knowing of who you are, life does feel a lot easier, right? Even in the midst of contrast, even in the midst of challenging life situations, you can tune into your intuition and receive insights for contrasting or challenging or obstacles. And like, what am I here to grok? How am I supposed to be growing and expanding from this live event, right? And then the last step is expansion, right? So expand. Embrace learning, right? The journey of purpose is a continuous learning experience, like I shared with the video last time where I talked about the cycle of purpose, right? So it's this iterative experience of surrender, inner healing, listening to the heart, and then acting on your passions, right? That's the cycle of purpose that I shared last time. And so being open to new knowledge, new experiences, new ways of thinking, growth, expansion, is what will help you to continue stay in alignment with your own unique path. So that's really the key steps that you can start taking in your life to start leading a more purpose-fueled or soul-fueled life. And let me do a recap. Feel free to say hi if you're joining me live. I'm not looking at the chat. I'm just yakking away. Let's see. Step number 1 is to tune in, listening to your intuition. Step number 2 is to reflect and doing self-reflection and identifying your core values and aligning your life with those values. Step number 3 is act, taking inspired action, right? Breaking down the insights that you receive into actual actionable steps that you can then follow through on, right? So there's no insights without action. It's just dead knowledge, right? It's not embodied wisdom. Like us as a human being, as human species, we learn through doing. That's, what is that called? Experiential learning, right? So we learn through experience, right? When monkey see, monkey do, like a lot of times I was having a conversation with another friend and they were talking about kind of complaining about a kid and they should just do what I say. I was like, kids don't really do what you say, they do what you do. So if you're doing certain things, they're gonna mirror you, right? Like that's how kids are. So being an example is one of the best things we learn through doing, through seeing, and then sort of repeating that energy, right? So taking inspired action. Step number 4 is to heal, releasing, restoring, and remembering. And then step number 5 is expand, right? Embracing learning, embracing experience, embracing the process of quote unquote making a mistake, falling, scraping your knee and getting back up and trying it again, right? Like embracing the journey of, that life isn't really all roses and cherries and unicorns and sunshine, but it can be more fulfilling, right? That's the purpose. If you watch a lot of movies in general, I can't remember, there's one that's kind of coming up in my mind. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like this idea of, what is the purpose, and it's like you go through all this stuff, but it's like this juicy moment of recognition that even though it's so short, our time on this planet is so short, it's worth it because of the ethereal nature of it, because the fact that, we're kind of like flowers in the wind, where we're here to express and shine our beauty out into the world in whatever way that looks, and then all of a sudden we're gone. You know what I mean? We're on to other adventures, right? So that's really the five steps into leading your purpose-fueled life. So leading your purpose-fueled life is really not a destination. It's a continuous journey. It's about listening to the call of your soul and aligning with your values and bravely stepping into the life that you're meant to live. So remember, you are a beacon of light. You are a light being. You are a divine, infinite being having this temporary blip of a human experience, right? And your purpose is your guiding star, right? And I think next time I might share like the difference between maybe your life purpose and your soul purpose. I was kind of tuning into my higher self about that, my divine team about that earlier today, and just kind of grokking that there is a slight difference, you know, because each human lifetime we come here for specific lessons per se, whereas the soul is here for various different experiences throughout the various lifetimes that we are simultaneously incarnated in. So maybe next time I might bring that, but that is the essentials of living a purpose-fueled life. So if you're ready to dive deeper into leading a purpose-fueled life, I want to invite you to book a complimentary discovery call with me or someone on my team at divineearthschool.com/call. And on this call, we'll talk about discovering what your purpose is and kind of starting to tap into what that is and actionable steps that you can start taking to actually lead a more purpose-fueled life and all of that good stuff. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I know that at some point maybe you might want to work with me and or my business. And if so, then we can talk about next steps on doing that. And if not, that's perfectly fine too. Either way, many people have said, whether they've chosen to work with me or not, in the past that they were so glad that they hopped on the call because it does give you clarity. So clarity and spending the next, is the best really 45 minutes to an hour that you'll spend on gaining clarity in your life and leading a soul-fueled life. So definitely visit me at www.divineearthschool.com/call to book a call. I'm going to put that in the link chat below. And we can see how that flows. Cool. I think that's all I want to say. So together, let's illuminate this path of leading your purpose-fueled life. Thank you for those of you who are joining. If you have any questions, I'm going to open up the floor for any Q&As that you may have and let you guys type that in for a second. Feel free to type any questions or insights and let me know if the content resonated with you today. Let me know if you were feeling it. Definitely, if you felt resonant with this video, give this video a thumbs up, like, share, comment below, and let me know that you are feeling this content as well. And as always, flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't, because you are divine. You are a divine being, and your soul knows exactly what you've come to explore and experience while on this planet. So remember, what you conceive is what you'll receive. What you expect is what you will get. And however you feel is what will become real for you. So vibrate higher, and I will chat with you guys on Monday. Peace of the night.